then you'll realize that it is your job to support the president's policies. And that's what Kamala Harris has been doing. She is working hard to differentiate herself and to ensure that the American voters see her plan to move the country forward, to unite the country. And I think it's pretty obvious that what we've seen is a very different strategy. Optimism and hope versus doom and gloom.
Rena, as Eric said a moment ago, it's not normally vice presidential candidates don't move the needle in any significant way, but with this election expected to come down to just a few states, could this time be different?
And I think this time could be really different because we're looking at an ahistorical race here. Regardless of how we look at last night, the factors remain the same. Harris and Walz are running a race in 3 months' time that nobody could have ever expected that they would run in this kind of fashion with as much support as they've had. They've unified the Democratic base without a doubt, and they've also managed to build coalitions, and that was pivotal in 2020. So when you're looking at how this ticket, Harris-Walz, moves forward after last night, which many have conceded was not Walz's best moment, he's not a particularly skilled debater, but what do you expect from a guy who calls himself a knucklehead on stage? He believes in his ability to be relatable, to be likable, and that's what he was bringing in contrast to Vance last night. But Vance also, I must say, I think brought out a real version of himself, brought out the real J.D. Vance, who did not come to play. He came with some degree of empathy. He also came with policy positions that were not only clear and concise, but he also came with a little dose of lies. And the lying, of course, is part and parcel with the MAGA universe. They have to embellish stats. They have to give alternative facts. And I think that's what we saw from Vance. But in general, this was a hugely substantive debate and one that was far more civil than most of the Washington punditry class could have ever expected.
And on that question of their respective personalities, Rena, didn't J.D. Vance also come out as someone who showed himself to be likable and relatable?
I think he was a different version of himself, a version that we have not seen over the past many weeks. I mean, every week since he was rolled out as the VP pick, it's like he's put his foot in his mouth with some statement or the other. Last night, he offered personal vignettes of a friend, for example, who had to have an abortion. He said, my party has to do better. And look, I think making himself, again, relatable in the way, sharing his kids' ages, the situation with his wife, and her being a working woman, a highly educated woman, but wanting to have a family, those things did help him, very much so. But I don't know that they can move the needle at this point in the race. I think people were stunned, but I don't know that people were really stunned into a different action than the one they would take already.
Jackie, great to see you as well. The first question the candidates faced was on foreign policy. They talked about the Middle East crisis, and that involves what's happening in Gaza right now, southern Lebanon, as well as the Iran attacks on Israel. Normally, it's not foreign policy that decides the outcome of an American election. It may have some effect, but not that much. In this instance, could it have a significant bearing on who becomes the next president?
Yes, I do, actually, because the pressing issue in regard to foreign policy is the one thing they refuse to say, and that is genocide. I understand that that's a verboten word in the U.S. media. Entire has been removed from social media. African Stream was just taken off of almost every social media platform because Ali Louise. Day 3 of China's regional national holiday. China's Ministry of Transport said that individual trucks nationally reached over 330 million China Railway estimates that during the holiday this year, cross-regional travel volume will hit 1.6 already around 7 million trips per day, and that is a 19.4% growth compared with the same period in 2019. The number of railway passenger trips on Wednesday hit 18.2 million, and China's Transport Authority is expecting another 17 million trips on Wednesday. Air travel service platform really trips that the number of airline passengers for today for the 7-day holiday exceeds 1.1 billion yuan on Thursday afternoon, and that's about 160 million US dollars. At the same time, comedy firms have been performing well in China this year. Our reporter Patrick has more. Comedy for film and theater. All the attractions are also seen in comedy shows. Everyone. National-engaging movies are very well in theaters this year. Actually, the overall performance of comedy films this year has been quite impressive. Among top 10 box office films this year, 5 have accumulated stars. Since cinemas are inherently an social networking aspect, audiences expect more relaxing environments, and comedy is a very relaxing genre. Are now in theaters during China's National Day holiday. And the Super Cowboy. The movie is also about trying to steal some of their favorite stars in the main scene.
I think the two comedies this year feature actors I really like, Jackie Chan and Guru. I grew up watching their movies, so I came today specifically to see these two films. It's because Jackie Chan hasn't been in any recent films for quite some time. This is his first collaboration with Mahua Funny. I think their partnership will be quite interesting.
Good box office figures this year may lead some to believe that comedy is entering its golden age. But according to Wang Weichen, the chief producer of Panasonic, and someone who has years of experience in the industry, comedy has always done well.
The comedy film has always held a specific position in the market, and it has consistently been very popular. Audience expectations continue to rise, and we're also evolving. This humor must resonate more deeply with viewers.
For Wang, comedy is not only well received in China, but also widely